Last night we introduced you to the Gonzalez family. After their mother tested positive for the breast cancer gene, all 4 of her daughters also took the test, and each of the girls came back negative except for 21-year-old Cassandra. So now she begins the process of deciding what to do to protect herself from an illness that she has a 50% chance of developing before she's 50 years old. The story may leave you asking, should I be tested? Well, the answer may be yes. According to Dr. Joe Kazor, a radiation oncologist at the West Texas Cancer Center in Odessa, 2 groups of people should be tested for a hereditary link to breast cancer.
One group would be patients who have already been diagnosed with cancer. So if you're being diagnosed with breast cancer at age less than 50, you should consider testing.
The second group is those who have no sign of the disease.
If you have a family member who had breast cancer at a young age or ovarian cancer at any age, you should also consider testing.
The process begins with a simple 1-sheet questionnaire. Then, if the doctor feels you qualify, it's a simple blood test.
Insurance companies generally pay for the test, and absolutely the cost of testing is relatively inexpensive compared to the cost of going through cancer treatment.
If the results come back positive that you have the breast cancer gene, you have 3 options to prevent cancer or detect it as early as possible.
You could undergo preventative surgeries. For example, around the country, some women with the gene are electing to undergo bilateral mastectomies with immediate reconstruction. That reduces their risk of developing breast cancer down to almost 0.
Call it the Angelina Jolie decision, a radical surgery for someone who does not have cancer, but one that could prevent the risk of developing it in the future.
The next option is to start early intensive screening.
Women with the breast cancer gene would start having mammograms and MRIs of the breast at the age of 25. The recommendation for the general population is 40.
So by this early intensive screening, if the woman were to develop a cancer, it would likely be detected very early when the treatment is easy and the cure is excellent.
The last option would be chemo prevention or medication that reduces the risk of developing cancer. Dr. Kazor says finances should never be a barrier to having this test because most insurance companies will cover the cost if you qualify. And he has one more bit of encouragement.
Another barrier, or why some people say they won't come in for testing, is they're afraid that if they have a positive test, maybe they won't get hired, or maybe they'll get fired, or maybe they won't be able to get health insurance. So there are laws in place in the federal government as well as the state governments that prevent this discrimination.
The same test that determines if you have a genetic link to breast cancer, there are also checks for a link to ovarian cancer and colon cancer as well. There are now separate tests for colon and uterine. If you have any questions, you can call the West Texas Cancer Center to talk to your personal physician about the test.